time is this?
Tonight, the revolution begins.
I'm expecting a fight, hoping for a war.
We are the Bullet Club.
I am the greatest living professional wrestler alive. One by one, they will all follow me.
Bada boom, realest guys in a room.
How you know?
Feed me more.
You have beaten Heartbreak Kids and Texas Rattlesnakes. You have beaten Cerebral Assassins and Electrifying Men. You have beaten Next Big Things, Ayatollahs, Nature Boys, and superstars who were rated R. Kurt, you've beaten Dead Men and Immortals, and hell, guys you can't even see. But Kurt Angle, what do they all have in common? They've been beaten. I haven't.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Deezer.
Oh, it's getting funky up in here on this Wrestling the Max episode 148. I don't know
That's
about being
right.
we're on a roller coaster to something. I know.
Yeah. Well, after all the extras that we do, and especially the ones going into the month of July, we are on a roller coaster, people. We are all over the place for you, up and down, and we are ready to rock and roll. And, of course, today we are going to be doing a lot of fun topics. We're going to do a lot of our normal stuff because we already covered Money in the Bank on Sunday night. We had a whole special show for everybody to check out. So, hey, if you're expecting Money in the Bank talk right now, you need to hop off here, go check out that show, and then come right back to hear the follow-up information. So we have a lot of cool stuff on that show. We have Money in the Bank, of course. We're basically talking about the whole entire show. And we gave you a special Ring of Honor Best in the World preview that you don't want to miss. Now, we're going to talk Ring of Honor on this show. We're going to kind of talk about that. I guess you wouldn't call it a go-home show. What do you want to call it? It's on this episode. We're also going to talk about Monday Night Raw, the follow-up Monday Night Raw, the all-important after pay-per-view show. And we'll get into some NXT, some interesting stuff in NXT, really cool stuff. The name Devitt actually comes out, not Balor, but Devitt. And then, of course, we're going to have some talk about TNA and what they're doing. And this is a lot of interesting stuff. And Lucha Underground, one-match show, but very cool. And, of course, we always cover all the big news of the day, so we got some quick hits coming your way. And don't forget, we're going to crown a Superstar of the Week, so lots of stuff to get into. You guys don't want to miss any of it. And, of course, I want to let you guys know that, we are, of course, in favor of, talking about mainly wrestling, but sometimes real life gets into this show. And my heart, and of course I'm sure these guys agree, our hearts go out to those people in South Carolina. We, very, very sad news over this past 24 hours, probably 48 hours you're listening to this show right now. Bad events, we're very displeased with it, and, we just want to give our hearts and our prayers out to those people. But you know what? This week has been kind of an interesting week. It's been a week of healing because just not long ago, Dusty Rhodes was gone from us, and a lot of celebrating of his life, And so we want to say that, there's some great things in wrestling, celebrations of lives, and not only that, some great comedy. And Seth Rollins, I think, did some of the best comedy that tied into the world of sports this week. So, Sean, let's let him hear it again.
Give me a sec. Hold on.
Oh, it's okay. I just thought he had it.
Oh, Lord.
Did it mess up?
Here it goes. Sorry. Am I playing the amount that I played on
play whatever you want.
Previous?
Your best.
Okay, here we go.
Take a good look, because this is what a world championship looks like. Hell, Johnny Idiot Face over there is never going to bring you a title. LeBron James ain't bringing a title back to Cleveland. This is the only championship you should be celebrating. So soak it up, because I am leaving this piece of crap town, and I am taking this title with me. You understand that?
Man, you know what was the greatest thing about that? Is that Seth Rollins basically predicted Cleveland losing before it actually happened. So,
oh man, it's almost sad because it's almost the culture of, hey, Cleveland, here's nope, you can't have it. Nope, sorry, no championship for you.
Denied.
Yeah, denied. So, I think it is funny you did predict it in a way, and the whole Johnny Manziel thing, it was pretty funny. So I love when wrestling does kind of get into those other worlds and have a lot of fun with it. Good stuff. So we wanted to kind of bring that out too. We're not in favor of starting the show with sad news. So, well, guys, we've got a lot to talk about, and I know you guys have been busy. So, let's go ahead and jump into this. Are you guys okay with us just going ahead and jump into some news topics? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Quick hits, guys. Let's go ahead, and we'll be right back with it.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
Yeah, instead of us rambling on about how tired we are and how, work week is gone, we're just going to have fun and talk some wrestling. So, let's go ahead and jump into this. And this is kind of something interesting to me. We did talk a little bit about sports here, and, we, of course, know that the Warriors of Golden State won the NBA championship. Now we also have the Chicago Blackhawks champions again in the NHL. But Vince McMahon sent a little present their way, actually. And I don't know why it's in the Warriors, but he sent Chicago a wrestling belt, right? The WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt, kind of saying, hey, you guys are champs. Do you guys think that this is a dig at CM Punk, being this is CM Punk's team?
I imagine it was just a chance for them to get free press, like they often try to get whenever a sports team wins a championship. Like, I bet he wet himself whenever the Packers had all the championship belts when they won a few years back.
Yeah. All that money in WWE shop, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it is sort of a dig at CM Punk. I'm pretty sure WWE's not stupid at the Hulk Hogan CM Punk Twitter war that's been going on. I think they're gonna take it's a nice little shot. Does CM Punk care? Probably not. Does CM Punk know they're probably gonna do that? Yeah, sure, whatever. It's what matters is that the Blackhawks won. That they get to, that's actually pretty cool that the Blackhawks didn't have to take that picture, So that's kind of cool that they did that. I'm sure the Golden State Warriors will get theirs eventually. I'm sure this week we'll see it. So
yeah, I always thought that was kind of interesting, and I hope they do. I think it's it's a cool deal for WWE to do. Like Paul said, promotion. That's what you want, right? You want people to pay attention, especially fans who have not watched the product in a long time, or maybe people who've never watched the product are now interested because of that. You're a fan of the Blackhawks, and you're like, oh, what's this WWE? And let me go check this out. And there's something that WWE is probably not going to be a fan of, and that's having Chyna around their headquarters. Apparently, she was taking pictures outside the headquarters. Of course, I don't know if she was trying to swerve anybody and make people believe she was going in the building. Don't think that was the case, really. But she's doing a documentary, and she's trying to, get this started. She's got a Kickstarter for it. And basically, she's trying to get this done, and basically the rise of China, from the depths, and I don't know about you guys, but I mean, do you think that this is kind of maybe China trying to hopefully being hopeful and maybe wishing a little too much, showing up at the headquarters?
I don't know if it's her being hopeful. I mean, I'm sure there is some hope there, but it's almost just sad. Like, I bet you her documentary would be really interesting. I'm interested in her story and everything, but just showing up outside headquarters and taking selfies with it's almost sad.
Mm-hmm. But after all the stuff, man, and we just recently heard on the Anthony and Jimmy show or whatever it's called. She was on it, and so was Sean Waltman, X-Pac, and they were bickering back and forth about what's true, what's not. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not sure if you guys heard it, but really, she came off as a liar. A lot of the stuff she was saying, X-Pac had everything to rebut it, and he said, "Look, I'll tell you everything I've ever done wrong. I'll tell you everything I've, taken, all this kind of, basically being truthful, very, very honest and open." And she kind of sat back and was kind of like in awe of like, I got to tell another lie now. And so, anyway, my point being is she's doing that, but then she's doing this. It's almost like a yin-yang. Can this documentary survive if she's doing that? I don't know. But what do you think, Sean? Is this a desperate move?
Oh yeah, I mean it's total like it. I feel like it's almost like a. Well, if you're not going to pay attention to me, I'm going to make you pay attention. Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to see if I can find a way to make you say something about me, acknowledge me, something. I don't know if I don't think it's all about. I mean, probably to her. And look, we've talked about this. That I think we all said that she deserves her spot in the Hall of Fame, at least as part of DX. People can dispute whether she deserves it as a solo or not, but I feel like she just, at this point, it's just like, well, if the company's not even going to acknowledge my existence and just going to blackball me and all this stuff, then I'm going to do something to make sure people remember me and all this stuff. And I guess I don't blame her in a way, but if you're going to tell lies about everyone, then that's really not the way to do it. I mean,
yeah, to me, it's almost like, hurting her image, not helping it. She keeps talking about being raped and keeps talking about, people giving her drugs and doing things. She blames X-Pac for all the drugs she's ever done, saying he injected her with it. He did all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, so you had nothing to do with it. Whether he injected you with those or not, like, you had no choice in the matter. Like, you didn't tell him, go ahead. Like, I mean, I just, some people just...
Well, and here's the other thing, guys. I mean, X-Pac's been out of her life for quite a while now. And you still see the YouTube videos. This is more damning material for her because she has all those YouTube videos that she's doing, and they're all, half of them heard she's drunk, or on something. You can tell that.
She is terrible in those videos. Like, just if you want an image for yourself, like, that is not the image. Like, seriously, why would you? I mean, Ric Flair is Ric Flair at this point. Like, we know this guy's gonna be drunk. He doesn't give two craps. I mean, he's good with that. Like, but if you're trying to restore your image in anyone's eyes, going on these videos drunk or whatever it is that's going on with you, that's not good. You're just giving WWE license to go, okay, well, thank you. We don't need to call you then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, because what if she shows up like that to the Hall of Fame and they give her a live mic?
Ooh. No.
Like, she'll probably be the first person in the history of the Hall of Fame that either somebody's going to have to just induct her and that's all she gets, or someone else will have to do her speech for her, because there's no way they're letting her talk. No way.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And this is just one of those things where it's almost like she's trying to make people feel bad for her, and she's trying to make people have sympathy and be on her side. That way that they can go and protest the WWE, hey, she deserves this. But I think a lot of people are saying kind of what Paul, you were saying, this is sad, and this is a situation where it's not about you feeling sorry for her, it's a situation you're just thinking, bad decisions. Why are you making these? And I don't know, you, Paul, I kind of go with what Sean's saying here. Is a Hall of Fame even further away now that over these past months, what she's been doing?
What are you asking?
Paul?
Yeah.
Is he there?
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I just didn't know if you were disconnected. But do you think the Hall of Fame is even further away, Paul, now that all this stuff has been just piling up over these, 4 to 5 months even?
I imagine so. I don't... As much as she deserves it, I don't think it's going to happen within the next 10, 12 years.
Mm-hmm. So... Well, we'll have to see. We'll continue following this story as it goes. Chyna's going to be Chyna right now. Let's get on to some more interesting stuff about WWE currently. And we just saw Sheamus win the Money in the Bank this past Sunday night. And I think a lot of us may have been surprised. I mean, really, the honest thought was that Roman Reigns was going to win that. But, hey, WWE sometimes throws a wrench in it and gives you a new Money in the Bank champion. So, looking at this, as the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Sheamus was almost guaranteed to be that guy last year. Now he didn't get it, so now this year he gets it. Do you think that WWE felt obligated to make sure he had this, especially since they didn't want to give it right to Roman Reigns right away?
I think WWE wants to keep Sheamus relevant. I think they're very high on him. He's won pretty much almost every accomplishment you can in the E right now in a short period of time, which is something to think about too. So I mean, I'm behind it, especially if we get him and Brock Lesnar in a match. I think it'll be awesome. It'd be really, really cool.
I was on, which actually just got posted right now. So whenever you're listening to this, whether it's on demand or whatever, it's there in the column section. But I was on the Wrestling Fact or Fiction this week, and that's the first question I had to answer. And this is a hard question to answer because it's like I'm totally for WWE kind of like, if you get hurt and they have faith in you. Now, obviously, it has a lot to do with Triple H is Sheamus' buddy and Vince likes Sheamus and whatever. But, let's say Daniel Bryan or somebody else was in this position. No way they're getting this whole, hey, you didn't get your shot last year, we'll give it to you next year, don't worry about it. But I mean, that's kind of cool that the guy gets injured, he still gets to have his moment or whatever. Let's see what happens from here on. Does he get the Seth Rollins push, or does he get the normal Money in the Bank push where he loses all the time until whenever he cashes in because people don't think it matters? And it does. And for Sheamus, it really does. If he's going to do this losing thing until he wins, no one is going to care. That's the problem with Sheamus that he's had for a long time. Nobody cares about Sheamus. They need to use this opportunity to rebuild him. And if they do that, I'm a Sheamus fan. I want to see him succeed, but I don't want to see him what happens to almost all the Money in the Bank winners. And because it's cool that he wins, but, I mean, unless you're just going to do the whatever the big rumor that's going on for Battleground right now, that he might cash in on Rollins or something, or, whatever. But I just think that there's a yin and a yang to this. I think you could have put the point that Roman Reigns could have won, and it would have made a more logical thing to me, because it seems like they're really going somewhere with Reigns, but again, he doesn't need them. It's the same thing with Sheamus. Like, both Sheamus and Roman Reigns don't need the Money in the Bank to tell me that they need title shots.
Uh-huh.
So there's got to be something happening here that you feel like Sheamus needs to have this Money in the Bank, and I hope it's something positive. I hope it's not he's going to be the next guy to lose the Money in the Bank shot or whatever, because then it's a waste, So I just hope something good comes out of this. Is all I'm going to end it on.
Yeah, and I have my fears, and that's my biggest fear, is the fact that they may have Sheamus hold it, perform well, not look bad, but not look the best on the roster, and at the same time, have him cash in and lose it. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in him. I believe WWE loves this guy. He's a WWE wrestler through and throughout. The style, just everything about him is WWE. So, I mean, I totally get where they're behind him, but on the other side of that coin, I don't know how far you can go with this. It would be a shocker to me if they put him against Lesnar. I just don't know if they're ready for that or they want to do that. If they do, great. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. It's way better than me seeing him face Randy Orton for the 1,725th time, you know? So, you know, who knows? We'll have to see what goes on. What we do know is that Xavier Woods has a new show with WWE. It's going to be a really cool kind of on channel kind of situation where he's going to be doing games. And I know, Sean, you're the gaming guy and you know a lot about this stuff. And I think it's cool that WWE is actually kind of jumping into the gaming world here. And I believe the show is going to be called Up, Up, Down, Down. And this is going to be really cool. What do you think about this? Is this good?
This is they should have done this a long time ago with Xavier Woods. I think he consistently is in the whatever top 2 or top 4 in the WWE 2K whatever tournament thing that they do at Access. He is a gamer. This is the kind of stuff that I've been talking about, and I know Paul's been talking about. We've all been talking about. With not only should this be on the YouTube channel, this stuff should be on the network. Like, them getting to show personality and things that they do outside of the realm of wrestling is really interesting to fans and interesting to casual people, period. You know? So, like, I've seen little snippets of Xavier Woods doing this, and he's funny, and he obviously knows his games or whatever, and you know, all that stuff. So I think that more of this stuff should be done, not just for Xavier Woods. I'm not saying everybody needs to have their own YouTube channel, but I mean, I would hope that, you know, we know there's other gamers on the roster. That'd be cool if he gets to have them on as well eventually.
Totally. Guys like Kofi Kingston, for example. I don't know.
Cody Rhodes,
like,
right? Too.
I think Cody Rhodes is too. I know Cody reads comics. But at any rate, I'm cool with the YouTube channel and everything. I don't know why you wouldn't put this on the network. This seems like an odd move for me, unless they're trying to keep up their presence on YouTube still, which I imagine has something to do with it. But I don't know, it just feels weird, especially with the network being a thing and all. But
they do put, like, I think certain clips of their YouTube stuff on the network, right? Like that's what that.
I've never gone and looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked either. But, you know, no matter what, if they can find a way to put it on the network, they need to do it. It's got to be there. YouTube's great. It works for what it is. But, I mean, I think if you want the network to be expanded...
I wonder if the footage of the games could be put on the network, though.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing, too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good point. But, I mean, YouTube, isn't that a problem, too? I know they have copyright.
No, YouTube, as long as you're doing a Let's Play or whatever, as long as it's not Nintendo-based, you're fine. So
okay, well, fair enough. So maybe strictly YouTube, but that's great. I'm extremely excited for Xavier Woods. I mean, this is a good deal for him. Hopefully, it'll get his personality out there, and, you know, we'll have to see what continues on with that. You know, something else. You know, talking about WWE. I mean, like I told you guys before, we had talked about Dusty Rhodes briefly. X-Pac, you know, who we had also mentioned, came out and said that he was very disgusted by TMZ, who does this basically does this on a regular basis with celebrities and 911 calls. And they released the 911 call of Dusty Rhodes' wife basically calling and asking for help. And so said he was disgusted. He said this is just getting way too personal. You know, they're exploiting it for money, and that's just not right. What do you guys think about this issue? I'm just kind of curious. You know, I know, you know, if it was some other celebrity, we may not care so much. But this is Dusty Rhodes, and this is kind of I don't know. It does kind of have a nicky feeling, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm with him, and it's not just TMZ. It's any real news company that uses 911 calls like this to talk. You know, especially when it's for ambulances and stuff like that. This doesn't need to be a matter of public record. This is It's a sad time for a family that is probably having one of the worst days of their lives, and that nobody needs to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean TMZ does this with a bunch of celebrities, so I mean WWE played the Lex Luger and Elizabeth one on TV, if we not forget. So. You know, I think from TMC standards, if you're going to play one, you're going to play them all. So I don't think I blame TMZ for this, because it's not like this is the only one they've ever played and they're picking on Dusty's family or, you know, whatever. It kind of sucks that it happens like right then. If it would have happened, you know, a week from now or something, it's kind of a different deal. It just kind of happens so close to when everything happened that it's a much bigger issue. I have just as much of an issue as the idiot on Twitter that decided that he's gonna like do a red carpet rollout of all the people that showed up at the funeral. Like, do you have anything else to do with your life besides just go to a funeral and point out on Twitter that all these people are here? Of course they're gonna be here. A legend just passed away. Like, his sons are not going to be at the funeral? Like, come on, guy. Just do something else. You know? And, I mean, I don't blame the wrestling websites for kind of posting it, because they just post everything. But it's just, you know, I guess have a little bit more class. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, you know, 911 call, I mean, that is a total invasion of privacy. The eulogies, I mean, not that was an open event to the media, but on the other side...
Well, they posted their eulogies online.
Exactly. That was their discretion to post the eulogies. And even if someone had, you know, wrote down a few things that they had said, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's, you know, it's not too bad. But they released them themselves, which was positive. And so the eulogy thing was great and fine. But, you know, 911 call, just a little too far, if you ask me personally. And even maybe the whole Twitter thing too, like Sean said, that's a little creepy. I mean, I guess I care if the $1 Million Man shows up to the funeral or not, but not really. That's his personal business. So, you know what? Let's talk about some other news. Let's kind of hop off this and let's talk about some interesting WWE news that actually involves TNA as well. Now, we all know Mysterio is gone from WWE. But the big rumor circulating around is that TNA is really hot and heavy trying to get their hands on Mysterio. And they really, really want him to come and be a part of their company, despite all the troubles that they're going through. What do you guys think about this? Do you think Mysterio would even give them the opportunity? I know he's still really heavily considering Lucha Underground.
I think Chris Limchi on our Facebook group nailed it the best. They can't even pay their own talent. Why are we chasing Ray? It just makes no sense.
Look, if TNA was in great financial condition and they weren't dwindling on this network and whatever, you know what? Go for it. But again, the same thing that we talked about when they were trying to sign Patron. Are you really going to pay Mysterio the money it's going to take to bring Mysterio in? And then, it's not like, you know, Patron is in good condition when he's not injured and he's a great wrestler, whatever. Mysterio's kind of broken down at this point. And he's not in his element. You know, you can tell him all the stuff about he's going to be this great Mexican superstar all he wants to. TNA, you're not going to get anybody a movie role. I'm sorry. You're just not. Okay? If somebody walks up and goes, I'm TNA superstar, whatever, whoever it is in Hollywood is going to go, what? Who are you talking about? Like, TNA? What is this? Are you talking about, like, tits and ass? Like, that's what they're going to be talking about, okay? Like, so, honestly, I think Mysterio is probably just laughing his butt off at whatever it is that they're... He needs to go to Lucha Underground where he will be beloved, and people are not going to give one crap that he's not the Rey Mysterio they remember him as. Just the fact that Rey Mysterio is there, Lucha Underground is going to love it, okay? TNA, you know what? The people might pop in the Impact Zone, but who's gonna? It's gonna be the same thing. He's gonna be wasting his time. And even then, like, it sounded so desperate that I think TNA would be willing to let him work Lucha Underground on his days off just to get him there. Like, that's how desperate that thing sounded.
Wow.
If Dixie's that desperate, she doesn't need to be running that company anymore. I'm just saying. She needs to let somebody else run that thing.
Yeah. It's a sinking ship, and I don't understand why you're trying to do things like this. It's, even if let's just take, for example, it literally was a sinking ship. Why would you be adding crates to it? It makes no sense.
I mean, but the thing is too, like, if he was in good condition, I mean, if he was Rey Mysterio, like, before he had all the knee injuries or whatever, and WWE still didn't want him, you don't think, like, ROH would have jumped after him?
Oh, yeah.
Or like, GFW wouldn't be knocking on his door right now? Like, we would be hearing more than just TNA. So that should tell you right here that Lucha Underground's pretty much going after him because of the Latino presence and what he brings and whatever. TNA just needs to leave him alone. Just why waste the money? Why? I mean, it's gonna cost you so much money that you're telling your talent he's better than all of you. Like, look at all that talent you have there. Half of it you're not even using correctly, and you're gonna bring in Mysterio, who could injure himself again on one show, and then you wasted all that money.
Exactly. You're totally right.
And Chris Limshy just called in. So
hey, Chris.
Hey.
So, what do you think?
Guys?
Pretty good, man. Doing well. What do you think about this Mysterio thing? Paul just kind of gave us a little bit of insight, but I want to hear it from your lips, man. What do you think of this Mysterio and TNA talk?
I mean, part of me should not be surprised that Dixie's too stupid to bring him in, but we're just getting reports about how they can't pay the current talent they have. But, oh my God, let's spend a bunch of money we don't have in getting Rey Mysterio in 2015 to our roster. And like Sean says, I like Rey, but he's not worth much these days, and he can injure himself in one match, and then it's just a waste of investment. Like, yeah, exactly what Sean said. You're telling your roster, oh, yeah, you guys are good, but, oh, God, we're getting Rey Mysterio. Just pushes all the other guys to success. Come on, Rey, we'll just give you the title and everything. We'll just give you the world. Like,
yeah, because he has to get a title run out of this.
Exactly.
So like, it'll be the joke we always, the next TNA World Champion, Rey Mysterio. Like, it's just,
Yeah. It's a sad deal because you just think, why is TNA continually making bad decisions, and here they are again trying to make another one. I just hope that Mysterio just solves this for them and just says, sorry, Lucha Underground is the place for me, which it makes all the sense.
And the only reason he hasn't signed Lucha Underground is because he's pretty much waiting for them to get the okay on season 2, or this wouldn't even be a deal at all.
So, I mean, we'll have to see what actually does transpire, but man.
I can't see Mysterio saying yes. I can see him doing like a Del Rio and just kind of like turning them down. But the idea of them asking him is just like, are you guys kidding me? Have you guys learned nothing from what, like, past dealings at all? Focus on your current roster. You don't need Rey Mysterio. You can't even afford him right now.
Yeah, for the ratings pop you'll get for like maybe one show.
One night, yeah.
Because I bet you right now that Angle EC3 match may not even move the needle, and then they wasted Slammiversary. So,
Yeah, so it is interesting. I mean, I don't know what they're really going to do. I just don't think Mysterio is going to buy in. I have a hard time believing they have enough money to get him on board. There's a guy that does work for the company currently in TNA that may be leaving. It just depends on the direction they go and depending on his contract. But Bobby Lashley was recently asked, would he consider at all going back to WWE? And he said, sure. He said it's in the possibility realm. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Would you want to see Bobby Lashley back in WWE?
I don't know. I mean, when you have Brock Lesnar, what do you need Brock Lesnar light for? You know?
Mm-hmm. Chris?
Well, you know, Paul, you're a bastard. No, with Lashley, I don't see him coming back to WWE because their relationship kind of ended badly, and it's pretty. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is pretty much like what Paul said. When you have Brock Lesnar, why do you need Bobby Lashley? When I look at the current roster, I could see Vince being like, yeah, you know, oh, that's cool, you want to come back, but we really don't need you, so have fun on the indies.
I think it's one of those too. It's like, okay, you know, Bobby Lashley is also sort of doing his MMA thing. Lashley would have to understand he's not going to be able to do both unless, you know, they let him have the Samoa Joe deal in NXT. But if he signs some kind of deal with WWE, there's no way he can do that. So that's the only thing I can see is Triple H signing him to do a tour or something. I can't imagine.
Here's a question I ask you, Sean. When Lashley left when Lashley left in, like, I think it was 2007, did you even really miss him? I mean, I sure didn't.
No, but I mean, but Lashley, to his credit, has done something for himself. You know, as much as we want to rag on TNA, he's definitely made himself something worth watching in TNA. You know, he's been one of their standout performers. I mean, when he was champion, he was dominant. He was. I mean, he's good in the ring. I mean, he's gotten a little bit better at talking, but you don't need to have him talk. You know, so. I mean, yeah, he's, especially with the UHA being there, too, I mean, you're running the risk of now you're having a bunch of, you know, similar talent or whatever, but just having somebody like Bobby Lashley who, just to be able to have some of these matches, even if you don't have them in WWE, I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I just think, like I said, when they look at the current guys they have and what's coming through NXT, I would just see them passing on, like, okay, that's cool, you want to come back, but we really don't need you, you know. If anything, the only person they should really consider bringing back is, like, someone like Angle, but that's never going to happen, but...
I think Lashley would try to command too much money. And they'd be like, well, you know, not going to pay that.
Yeah. And there's another thing, too, keep in mind, they ended on bad terms because they were pretty much giving Lashley the entire world after WrestleMania 23. They were like pushing him to the moon, and then with what happened with his wife and with him just like leaving abruptly, it kind of left a bad taste in their mouth. So I just can't see them wanting to do business with him anytime soon.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that as well. And there is a person that would love to do business with him, and I'm sure that is Jeff Jarrett. We'll have to see if that happens, but you know, it looks like Jeff Jarrett has, you know, gotten himself some more talent, or if you want to call it that. Recently on the internet, you can see a picture of Don West with the Global Force Wrestling logo behind him. That's a big teaser. I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm terrified now.
I like me some Don West, but Jarrett has some others. He needs to do a lot more things than just signing Don West before I can be convinced that GFW is going to be a thing.
I mean, they're already using the six-sided ring. Nothing says TNA like six-sided ring and Don West. I mean, might as well just go try to get Mike Tenay out of his contract too.
No.
I'm just
actually GFW is coming to my part of Texas here pretty soon. So I'm gonna try and check out one of the shows just to say that I went to a Jeff Jarrett GFW show just for the hell of it.
Yeah,
hopefully they're around long enough for that to happen, because that'd be kind of cool at least.
Yeah, I'm interested in going myself, and the reasoning is because of not really who's in the matches, but is Hacksaw Jim Duggan's going to be there, for God's sakes.
You just want to yell ho, don't you?
Yes, I do. Oh. So I think it's interesting. You know, they've done a few things to try to get butts in the seats at GFW, but you know, they're doing the TNA mistakes, getting these giant ballparks that they can't fill up. The first show only ran like, what was it, 164 people or something like that. and they had like 6,000 seats to fill after that. So I mean, it's kind of depressing, man. Very, very depressing, and I hate that this is happening this early on. But you know,
I mean, but nobody knows who they are. I mean, what does he expect? Like, just, I mean, I don't know what kind of promotion he's doing or whatever, but like, just having a bunch of names on a card is not gonna.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, we've been talking about this for 18 months about Jarrett starting a new promotion. It's called GFW. It's been going on for 18 months, and there's been no other promotion besides that. Like, I know it's coming to my town because I read the internet, but there's no promotion around here that it's coming to my area. So it's just stuff like, it's like the TNA mistake of they're not promoting within the city. Oh, hey, GF Wrestling's coming to your town. You should come. You should come and watch it. They're not doing any kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Why doesn't Jeff Jarrett do what bands have done for a long time and created street teams? You know, the teams in each city that they're planning on going to, get a group of people together to go pass out flyers, to get people interested in going to the show. I mean, I've heard of that. You would think that they would do something like this. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it would help. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would go pass out flyers, me personally, but you know,
yeah, it couldn't hurt. I mean, any promotion is good promotion at this point.
I mean, it's like that press conference that they kept saying was if no one's there, is it a press conference? I mean, just
that's a good point. So I mean, not really bashing GFW here. I'm just saying there's a lot of questions to be left. You know, once you see those low numbers in such a big stadium, or you know, whatever.
Do you guys think that GFW will secure a TV deal, or?
You know what? I mean, what's it gonna hurt Destination America at this point? I still think they should just go ahead and make a 4-hour wrestling block and try to. Oops. GFW cannot sit there and I can't imagine GFW can command anything.
Yeah.
Like what leverage do they have to stand on to go, okay, you need to pay us this?
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Jared's kind of weird claim about, like, it doesn't matter about being on TV anymore? And I'm just, I see that, and it's just, like, ridiculous. Like, okay, dude, that's not true. You can be in, like, streaming stuff, but advertising is still going to help your company way more than being, like, an internet kind of sort of thing.
Okay, so, like, you're going to be on Hulu. Like, okay, Hulu will advertise you, whatever, but I can't imagine even Hulu taking them and offering them this bunch of money. Like,
well, I can imagine, okay, say Jared doesn't get TV, then this is what's going to happen within, like, 5 months from now. GFW is brought to you by Audible.com, where you can subscribe to get an audio free book.
Like, yeah, it'll just be the GFW podcast, you know, because they can't even. It's just, does he not understand that the world has changed? Like, you can't do the pay-per-view thing anymore.
No,
you can't do that. Nobody's going to pay for that. TNA can't even get people to pay for the one-night onlys, so they're not going to pay for that. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Paul's been quiet, so maybe he disagrees.
Yeah, Paul's like, I don't care.
I think Jared took a guitar to Paul, and then Paul's selling the guitar shot.
Yeah. Well, you know, since Paul's not interested in this, what if he is interested in this news story? AR Fox is maybe heading to Lucha Underground. Does that sound cool to you? Do you think that he'll be a good fit with them?
He's a perfect fit. Much like Ricochet, he's another high flyer who can do 10,000 flippies, so he'll find a good home there.
And he likes doing crazy spots, so bunch of balcony. You know, he can just exclusively jump from the balcony whenever they, you know, need that.
Yeah, I'm all in for that. So we got that also happening. Plus, you know, we did talk about last week that, there's rumors going around with WB maybe thinking about working with or purchasing, the whole situation down there in Evolve. And what do you guys think about this? On Uhaa Nation's first match was actually against Johnny Gargano. So there's some kind of ties right there. It seems. Now, Johnny Gargano did come to a tryout, so, not reading into it too much. But what do you guys think about this? Is this possibly a sign?
I don't know if I'm ready to bite on it just yet, but Gargano having a match with Uhaa is very cool.
I agree. That should be a very cool match. Have they, but it's curious the whole Evolve thing, because McIntyre or Drew Galloway is still the champion, right?
Yes, he holds both that and the Open the United Gate Championship for DG as well.
That should be interesting if this deal does go through, because I know he's working with TNA as well, so I'll be kind of curious to see what happens with that.
Well, I'm assuming they would have certain talent that they'd just be like, okay, we don't want them. So, not that maybe they don't want Drew Galloway, but Drew Galloway probably
it's just the fact that since he is the Evolved champion, that if they would try to do some kind of deal of getting McIntyre back in the fold or not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess technically, as long as he doesn't show up on NXT TV, he could work the tours and whatever, representing Evolve. I don't know how TNA would feel about that, but
yeah. Well, the TNA probably has more to worry about. Probably close to September,
Yeah, but Drew Galloway is supposed to be one of your big deals going on in TNA right now, so I don't know that you want him be associated with your competition or whatever they consider WWE right now.
Very interesting, and I don't know. That's I really didn't even put him into this whole process, and that will be very, very interesting to see what they do if this whole deal does go down with WB and of course Evolve. So, but you know what, guys, that pretty much wraps up our news. We've got a lot of stuff, this week, but that pretty much wraps up anything big. So, Chris, did you have anything you wanted to talk about before you? I don't know if you wanted to stay on with us for Raw or anything.
Oh, no, I'm about to head out. All thing I gotta say is the Sheamus Money in the Bank win was when it happened, I just kind of was like, interesting. And I'm still trying to process the idea of somewhere in the pipeline within the next year, there's at least an inkling of Sheamus might be champion, which is pretty strange, but they have a year to do it, so they're gonna have to do a lot of rehabbing with him, because I can't see him believably cashing in anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't either. That's something where if he does cash in soon, it's because he's going to lose.
Yeah. If anything, the idea of cash in for him would be after WrestleMania 32, unless, and just stick with me, guys, here. Sheamus wins the title of SummerSlam or something, holds on the belt till Mania. Bryan is the Royal Rumble winner, and Vince finally gets Bryan Sheamus for the title at 32.
Oh,
it makes sense. They've credited Bryan's injury to Sheamus on TV, so there's already a tie in there.
That would be amazing to see Bryan win the title again.
Oh man, yeah. That I don't know. It seems a little far fetched right now.
Vince has such a hard on for that match. I can just see him create pictures up to him yeah, let's do
it. Yeah. I never know. You never know with Vince. He can make anything happen. So,
yeah.
But anything else out of Money in the Bank really just kind of shock you or anything? I'm just kind of curious. We didn't get a chance to talk to you during our Sunday night show. It was Money in the Bank. Since Raw happened the next night, the whole
the Divas match at the time, I hated everything about it, but I can kind of see where they're going with it now. But it's still. Did they ever explain why that match didn't end in a DQ at all, or?
I think that was just meant to be a dusty finish, just to be a dusty finish.
Okay.
Yeah. Still not a fan, but yeah.
I mean, if you go by what they're doing on, apparently Alicia Fox helped Brie out on SmackDown to win a match. So if they're really going to do Paige against the World and it leads up to, the NXT women coming up, I'm totally fine with whatever they're doing right now.
I'm assuming if anyone would get caught up, it would be Charlotte, because it wouldn't make sense for Sasha's character, and I wouldn't even want her to be brought up as a team with anybody, you know? Like, Charlotte
but
is the
she's almost getting turned face now, so.
I think it could work short term if they're trying to change generations of divas. So, like, you have the old guard, and Paige brings up the new guard of NXT, and it's sort of a 5-on-5 or whatever they can work it out to be. I think it'd work short term.
Yeah, you could just have Sasha be the Wade Barrett and just turn on him later.
Oh, don't call it the Wade Barrett. I don't want any.
Whatever, just you know what I meant.
I don't want that. I don't want that on her. I don't want that on her at all. Have you seen the booking of Wade Barrett lately?
I think we've all seen the nowhere booking of Wade Barrett.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I mean. Did you have any thoughts on the Intercontinental Championship fiasco, which was terrible? I'm sure you don't. We didn't have.
Oh no, yeah. If you want me to start having a lot of cursing and stuff about that, it's just, God. And the worst thing is that it's continuing too, so it's just
and then they added the Miz too, so it just makes it worse.
I shouldn't even brought that up. I should have talked about the main event.
We have to deal with a whole month of this, Scary.
I know. You're reminding me of things that make me depressed.
At least 2 months. You're getting at least 2 months, because I'm assuming Ryback is going to pin Miz at Battleground, and then we're going to get the blow-off that everybody wants of Big Show and Ryback at SummerSlam.
Oh boy, I can hardly wait.
Speaking of feuds that nobody wanted, Sheamus and Orton are actually feuding now, which is just
Jesus Christ.
Good God.
It's so nice to have 2 bathroom breaks during Raw now. I can take care of a lot of business now.
You know what? Their matches aren't bad. It's just they're so
boring.
You can have your eyes closed and you can call the match yourself.
Exactly. I was actually saying to somebody I can literally be sleeping and just see how the Sheamus Orton match is going to go, and then I'll wake up and it happened exactly like that. Awesome.
I think the trick here, guys, and I'm just now realized this, is they now are using this match to lull the audience to sleep. That way they keep it on that channel for the 3rd hour. That way the ratings get better in the 3rd hour and they feel complete. So, yeah. But anyway. Well, the one last thing we got to ask you, Chris, before we let you go, is what did you think about that main event at Money in the Bank with Seth Rollins and, of course, Dean Ambrose?
Oh, I loved it. One of my favorite. It probably beat my favorite match before, which was, I want to say, Jericho and Shawn from No Mercy 08. That match was great. It had good psychology in it too, which you don't see in ladder matches these days. It's always now high spot after high spot after high spot. Now there was a story put into it, and it worked, and it made Seth look even strong, which is going to be good for who he's facing at Battleground next month. So
yeah, this is where I false finish you, because I do have one more. We forgot John Cena and of course Kevin Owens.
So I'll say it was a fantastic match. The Cena win was expected because they're obviously doing a series of 3, so now they're obviously tied. I would personally have saved this. They could have drugged this out a lot longer. I don't know why they're going to even think about doing the 3rd match at Battleground. They could have just drugged this out to SummerSlam. Actually, no, the rematch should have happened at SummerSlam. And they could have drugged that out to Hell in a Cell or something, but regardless, we're still getting good program out of it, and it's made Owens look like $1 million, and I could probably consider him the top heel of the company right now, which is kind of weird to think.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is. Especially, not long ago we were like, is he even going to enter the WWE? So that's a lot of truth right there. So, man. Well, man, we really appreciate you calling in, Chris, man. It's always awesome to have you, and we know you got a lot of things to do. So, did you have anything you want to plug, anything before you get out of here?
No plug, but I'm actually going to be watching the ROH Best in the World pay-per-view tomorrow. Are you guys going to do like a little coverage on that, or?
We sure are. I believe, Sean, we're doing this Sunday night, correct?
Sunday, yeah. So I got to do the Wrestling a Wrap with Harry when it's on, and then at least it gives us a couple days to watch it, and then Sunday we'll be there doing it.
Awesome. I hope if the smart booking says Jay Lethal wins, and he should, so I hope that's what they do.
I think that's what we're all hoping for here.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, well, cool, man. Well, hey, man, if you're around Sunday night and you want to call in, just let us know, man.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks a lot, Chris, and we'll talk to you soon. Everybody, that is Chris Limsky, the fourth co-host of Wrestling to the Max. It's always great having him on. We love it, and hopefully you can get a chance to talk with us on Sunday. So,
yeah. Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
All right, man.
Later, bud.
Later.
Well, we will be right back. We are about to jump into some Monday Night Raw, and I know, a lot of the things Chris brought up here is going to really be a factor of what we're going to talk about coming up next.
WWE Monday Night Raw.
Alright, Raw was live from Cleveland, Ohio, as if you didn't guess from the thing I played earlier, where Rollins made fun of Johnny Manziel and LeBron James in the same deal. Pretty much Rollins talks about himself the entire time because he beat Ambrose by himself. He goes around saying he's not going to thank, Dumb and Dumber, J&J, or the Devil's Favorite Dinosaur, or even Triple H's Stephanie, which made the crowd go crazy, and, ooh, I can't believe he's not even thanking them, I thought this was all good. Eventually, the indestructible Dean Ambrose, because, all the damage he took, he's still around. This is where, sometimes, selling injuries is okay. But at least he sold the knee, so it wasn't all bad or anything. And then Ambrose decides he wants to say sit in. And, we get this opening segment went on for, ever. It seemed like. I think it went on for, 35 to 40 minutes almost before we got Sheamus. I don't know if that includes Sheamus and Dean or not, but, God, it felt like it went on for a while. Ambrose won with a roll-up. At least it wasn't a distraction. Well, actually, maybe oh, Jesus, it was a distraction roll-up now that I'm remembering. It's been a while, so whatever.
And it's your favorite.
Yeah, I wanted to throw something on my TV. And the worst part is, what Chris brought up. That means Sheamus and Randy Orton are feuding again, which, it's what we always dreamed of.
It's what excites Paul.
Totally.
Yeah, you guys got to admit, though, during the Seth Rollins whole thing, when he was out there, I often, kind of thought, okay, he's being so even keel. He's being a little charismatic. Is he really doing the face turn already? Is he kind of switching into gears, getting ready? And then he pulls out the whole, guys, I really want to thank these people. Then he starts saying, I want to thank Seth Rollins. I enjoyed that. I really did. Yeah, it's kind of an old gimmick. We've heard it before, but he did such a good job at it. I just had to laugh. I love this, and so I think Seth Rollins is on an okay path here. We'll talk. I guess we'll probably talk about it here soon. But even at the end, I know people are hating on him, but I think Rollins is doing okay.
I think he's doing more than okay. Every time I watch him cut a promo, I always think back to Tyler Black, who was cringeworthy on a promo. Now I want to watch him cut a promo, so just that alone always makes it worthwhile for me. Dean and Sheamus had a very good match, though, that entertained me for a long time. Distraction roll-up, take it or leave it, but the whole match leading up to that point was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, the match was good. I wasn't taking away from the match at all. At least it wasn't Randy Orton and Sheamus again. So. I thought Rollins did really good for himself. I don't know that we need to do the old Triple H do this every week thing, but for what this was and what it kind of makes sense because of the monumentality of it. For Rollins anyway, who his whole gimmick has always been he needs the authority, whatever. I thought it works, And then you had, the whole Triple H and Stephanie stuff towards the middle, or I think right before the Ambrose and whatever match, and that's fine. They needed that too. They needed the part where basically the authority has now officially shut Rollins out. So, it kind of brings a finality to everything. Now Rollins is by himself. He's still an asshole. He's still Rollins, but he doesn't need the authority, and that's good because that means there's growth in the character instead of always being the same thing.
Everybody keeps talking about how weak as a champion he is, and he's just a weak champion because of all the burning he did. And yeah, I get that. He was hiding behind the authority, yeah, but that was also his part he played. I think that this guy has a lot of things to prove, and I think this is a good opportunity, but it's just kind of a shame. People kind of ribbed him about his title run.
No, I don't think... To me, when I think of weak champions, are the champions that lose all the time and then they miraculously win at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins doesn't do that. He wins. Now, he had to get a lot of help from the authority or whatever, but that was the whole part of the gimmick.
Right. He's a chicken shit heel who had a big group to hide behind. It's Triple H 2.0. Triple H did this during a fair few of his runs at the top, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can I just said it with the promo. You can totally see the Triple H running through it, and it works because Rollins is so good. If we're talking about somebody that's crap and doing it, you're gonna see through it,
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of seeing through it, I certainly wish I could have just hadn't seen Truth and Wade Barrett again. That was just. God, Barrett must have something on someone. Barrett's got to have somebody in a terrible situation that I don't know. They must be just if you say one word, I don't know. I feel so bad for him. What is the point of having Truth beat him in 20 seconds?
Nothing, as far as I'm aware. I'm surprised. I guess I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but it shocks me still that this is a feud. I don't know what the point is. R-Truth hasn't done anything. Barrett certainly hasn't been booked to do anything, even though he's won King of the Ring. It's a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. It leads me to believe that maybe... he did something, Wade Barrett, who's I'm talking about. I think he must have done something. I just want to use this Dr. Phil phrase for a minute here. whose Cheerios did he pee in? I mean, come on. I mean, this guy must have either made somebody angry or they legitimately have nothing for Wade Barrett, a guy they were super high on, and they're letting R-Truth take him down, roll up, or whatever it may be. I mean, this is not good. The guy that you just crowned your King of the Ring champion, and here you are.
It makes you feel like you wasted your time even caring about the King of the Ring.
Definitely.
Thing, watching it or anything, just...
They were kind of mocking it, too, with truth.
Yeah, and then not only that, it's just like, okay, so if we're going to bury him because he gets injured all the time, well, Sheamus gets injured just as much as he does.
Mm-hmm.
And we're giving him Money in the Bank and doing something with it. I just think it's so dumb.
I mean,
Sheamus has worked out for him, though. He's had 2 runs at the top. He's been relatively popular for most of his run. I think Wade Barrett's sort of been up and down, and mostly down during his whole main roster run. And he gets hurt at the worst times too, as I've said on here millions of times. So maybe they're gun shy, maybe he does have something on somebody, but who knows?
It's just like, God, poor guy can't get a break.
Oh, don't say break when Barrett in the same.
Okay, well, I mean, I kind of got off track doing this the way we normally do it here. So continuing on with the stuff that happened at the beginning, Randy Orton got involved in that Dean Ambrose and Sheamus match. So later on, we had to have Kane, So instead of having Sheamus and Randy Orton, somebody decides that Kane and Randy Orton is just that much better. Oh man, I don't know what to say. Like, the crowd told you enough. No one cared. Just move it along. And then of course Sheamus causes Randy Orton to lose. So,
it.
Yeah.
Booking 101.
Booking 101 that you don't want to see. So
yeah, and I'm sure you're going to get to this later, and please forgive me if I spoiled this, but none of this matters to me. None of it. I mean, I just don't care about any of this. It doesn't go anywhere for me. What I do care about is I love and I'm going to say this 100,000 times, I love Dean Ambrose's interaction, and today he did it with Kane. And I love that, going back and forth and talking about the title. And Kane said, I am a former world heavyweight champion. And Ambrose, that's the other guy. That's the demon. You're not that guy. And so I love the interaction and I love the history brought up.
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, Ambrose has obviously vested interest in making sure that Kane goes back to being Demon Kane, because then he can just beat up Seth Rollins for him.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's fine. If we don't get, as much as I don't want to see it, but this has to be at some point leading to a Kane-Seth Rollins match. At some point we have to get it, because they keep teasing it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think would be kind of a spectacle in itself. If you have Masked Kane come back just to scare the bejeepers out of Rollins like they did later with Brock, I think that's funny. Because Seth doing his oh my god face is great. Well, speaking of that, so you have basically the whole. I'll talk about the stuff at the beginning later, but eventually the whole point of this really is that Seth Rollins says he's beaten everybody. Who the hell do you have left for me to beat? And he doesn't have anything to prove. And Triple H is like, well, we've invested a lot of money in you, so we have to know that you're really the great champion that you say you are. And, are you going to become the Diamond? And, oh, here comes Brock Lesnar. And, yep. You know what's going to happen there. So, I loved all the Brock Lesnar signs in the crowd. That was great. The exit F5 sign was awesome. There's a Suplex City chant when Brock came out or whatever, and just Seth just leaves because, you know, that's the only thing I didn't like about the Seth like leaving, because like Ambrose is gimped, so he runs away, and then it's like, okay, see, when Brock Lesnar comes, that's when you should be running away. But like Ambrose was on one leg and you're gonna run away, you know, that's a little bit, you know. That's I think where you can say he kind of looks weak there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe a little, but he's just as beat up. If you want to go that route.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's whatever. I don't mind Seth running away because he's still in that role. I think it worked perfectly with Brock. His facial expressions, his whole body language, I think that whole segment was just wonderfully done.
Yeah, I think he did a great job, because I mean, what would anybody do with Brock Lesnar coming out there? And
yeah,
I mean, geez, this is the one guy that, you know, one of the top guys in the company can't beat. It took two guys last year, you know, WrestleMania, and they still couldn't do it. They had to be a Money in the Bank cash in to take the title away from him. So this is, you know, a cool deal. I think they did a good job with it. And, you know, no matter what, I mean, you look at this and you think to yourself, this is going to be fun, because you got the scaredy cat guy who's got the championship belt now, knowing what he did against the big monster, and the monsters want to crush him more than ever since he basically stole his title away. So I think it's already a good story.
Oh yeah, this is, well, I mean, it was a story already made when the Money in the Bank cash-in happened. Like, you knew this match had to take place or whatever, and now this is going to be awesome. Let's see what happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now he doesn't have the authority, so this is going to be even just more fun.
Yeah, really.
Is he going to just like suck up to the authority the whole time until we get to Battleground? And how many times he's going to get, you know, that's the only thing that I think they have to worry about, is if Seth Rollins keeps getting like thrown to the wayside for that, and he just looks like, you know, he's like begging and groveling to them constantly. I think that's when you're, you know, you have to toe that fine line there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, moving to other things that happened on the show. Kevin Owens, once again, is a huge part of the show, as he should be. He has a really good match with Dolph Ziggler. You know, it's Dolph Ziggler, so you know that he's just gonna can have a great match with anyone. No surprise here with Owens. Owens tells you that John Cena's not gonna be here tonight. Woohoo! All right, let's do the dance. I'm sure Fonty was just awesome about it. just going around in circles in his house about this. So there's you know, Dolph gets thinks he's going out there for an NXT title challenge, and Kevin Owens is like, "Hey, I never said it was for the NXT title, so you're gonna have a non-title match with me." And I love that Owens even stopped Lillian Garcia to call her Blondie. I think that was great. But yeah, just we have this, and of course later on, because WWE had to waste moments of our life giving us MGK. I had enough of them at WrestleMania 28. That was enough for my entire lifetime. So we get an awesome segment where Owens just power bombs MGK off the stage. So that is freaking awesome. MGK's a trooper, because he's obviously not a wrestler, and he just took that great. I mean, he no-sold it afterwards when he wasn't in the arena anymore, but fantastic. Hello?
Well,
yeah, sorry, I've been having some mic troubles here and there. Yeah, totally dug Kevin Owens throughout the evening. Great match with Dolph Ziggler. Always brought it with the promo work, so No, just keeping Kevin Owens strong and on the straight and narrow towards another match with John Cena is a good way to go.
Yeah, I agree. And, Kevin Owens has been very impressive, whether it be on the mic or in the ring. So, I mean, it's just enjoyable to have him on your television screen. And, that was fine. I mean, I think it just shows his arrogance. It shows that, and it also shows, it kind of goes back to Seth Rollins, kind of scared maybe a little bit. Doesn't show it, but maybe in the back of his mind thinks that, hey, Dolph Ziggler is a guy that's been successful, and he could take this belt away from me, so it better not be on the line. And then looking, of course, what he did to Machine Gun Kelly. I mean, I was very disappointed with that, only because of the fact that you could definitely tell Machine Gun Kelly was so protected it wasn't funny. I understand he's not a wrestler and all that, but they should have had him do something else. I'm sorry. I felt like, they protected, him way more than they protected some of the women on the roster. Even the celebrities and stuff. I mean, I think if you would have had somebody like, I don't know, what was her name? Munoz, who wrestled in WWE for the WrestleMania. Maria Menounos, her name. And you also had the Jersey Shore girl.
She wrestled with a broken ankle in that match.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you also had the Jersey Shore girl who could get in the ring and do things. And I don't know. I just kind of felt it was kind of wussy.
It serves its purpose. The purpose is he's a friend of John Cena. Let's get him. And
but it's not violent enough. It looked like, okay, he landed on a mattress. Oh, man, that hurt, didn't it? So, I don't know. It just looked like very weak, personally. So, whatever it is, it's going to continue the feud with John Cena. That's fine. Let's keep Machine Gun Kelly away from my TV. That'd be great.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on that.
I mean, I had 3 bathroom breaks, and that was not good for a Raw.
So we do have 2 Divas segments. So that's interesting. Basically, we have like a Divas segment after the first stuff with Owens, where basically you have everybody kind of turns their back on Paige, like all the divas, because Paige kind of comes in and calls the Bellas out, like, well, does everything around here have to involve them, or is the whole show about them? And then later they also have it's Paige and a handicap match against the Bellas, and she has a really nice near fall where she hits a rampage on Brie, but Nikki stops the pin right when it's about to hit 3, and of course, Bellas win because it's 2 against 1. Doesn't always happen that way, but it's the Bellas, so they have to win. And it furthers the story as well. But what do you guys think about the Divas here?
I thought it was fine. It's good continuation of stuff from what we got on Sunday at Money in the Bank. So,
Gary. All right. Well, either Gary's having my problems or he took a bathroom break. Maybe. So is this the Divas? Who knows? I think we did get a lot of Dusty videos in this, so that's cool that we're still doing things about Dusty. So thank you, WWE, for making this a thing that it didn't just happen on Sunday and we're done with it. They continued along with it. I think you're back now, Gary.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to mute my mic. I didn't want you guys to hear a bunch of noise in the background. So what was the...
What do you think about the Divas segments?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I enjoyed the Paige gathering. I thought that was kind of neat, and then for them to kind of, basically have the Bellas come in and change the world all the way around on her, where, no one's going to protect you because, Stephanie McMahon has our back, not yours. So I like that thought process, and it kind of gives us a cool dynamic. And also, it got me really excited about the fact that we could see the 4 horsewomen from NXT. That's what I was really focused on there. So kind of cool. And then the other segment you were talking about was which one?
Yeah, I think that's. I had just gotten to that point. I was going to go talk about the
match itself.
Yeah.
So, in that match, really, it wasn't bad or anything, honestly, and I don't know. Once again, they continue on with the Bellas getting over, and that's fine. That's what they're trying to do, and that's what's going to work until they can get to something else. So, we're going to see this until they finally make that turning point happen. I don't know when that's going to be.
This has to lead to something.
There's a changing of the guard coming. We just don't know how or when we're going to get there.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense at all to do this, and it's just going to... no one's going to care if you don't have someone come save Paige. It cannot be this the entire... It has to lead to somebody showing up at Battleground. I just cannot imagine that... Because there's nothing else you can do. You already made Naomi disappear for some reason. So, what else do you have? So I think the other thing is that you had a six-man match with the New Day against Primetime Players and Neville. I enjoyed the match. Red Arrow for the win for the faces. So good stuff here.
Yeah, I thought the match was fine. I just sort of wish that they gave the pinfall to the Primetime Players. More just because they won the titles one day ago. It's try to make them look impressive.
At least they weren't on the losing team.
Yeah, that's fair. I just sort of wish one of them got the pinfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you make a good point. I thought something was kind of odd about the match. I don't know what. It was fine. No big problems with it out there. And I guess that could be something of it. I just usually when you got the guys being the champions, you're gonna have them come over and be the ones that are getting over here, get the pinfall or get the most action in the match. And Neville was really more of the focus. So that's interesting.
Yeah. The thing is that this is a tag team thing, so I don't know where Neville kind of fits in here unless you're gonna have Kofi and Xavier Woods defend the titles, and then it's gonna be Kofi and Neville in a match, which nothing wrong with that because those two in a match is gonna be fantastic. So. I'm not going to complain about it wrestling-wise. And I'm glad they're kind of starting Neville off slow. Like, we saw them kind of let him have his time where he's facing some of the bigger, he had that close thing with John Cena, and he got to fight Kevin Owens or whatever, but I'm glad we're kind of, hopefully it builds and it's not just Neville kind of lingering here, so,
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Just as long as they keep Neville going in the right place and they keep the New Day and of course the Primetime Players, I just think that it's a smart move because with New Day in this situation, I don't want them to lose any momentum. I think these guys are going on the right track. I'm a little bit nervous, now that they don't have the titles, they're going to start messing them up, and I hope that's not the case.
Hey, we already saw Titus O'Neil out there with the Buffalo Bills with those tag titles.
Ooh, man.
He's already using that football stuff to come into play.
That's right. So, well, I guess, is that I think that we covered all?
Yeah, you just got to do the rating of Raw, I guess.
All right. Well, Paul?
I'll give it a 5. There's some decent wrestling on here. There's some segments on here that I really enjoyed, but overall, I think most of the show was relatively boring.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree. I'll give it a 5.5 for the fact that you kind of had a diva storyline sort of going out through the night. That's a progress, I guess. And once again, they at least told a story throughout the night with Seth Rollins and whatever. I mean, it seemed like they took forever to get there, but they're like Paul said, there's good parts of this. There's progression going on. So some of it we really don't care about, like, you know, Randy Orton or Kane or Sheamus or parts of this, you know. But
it's pretty bad when you can name 4 or 5 wrestlers that don't care about this guy, don't care about that guy.
Well, you know,
it's the truth. Truth hurts, don't it?
It's all about who you involve them with, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's true. So I'm going to give it a 5 as well. I mean, I think 3 bathroom breaks is too much in a show. You got to keep me interested. I think the Machine Gun Kelly spot was supposed to be huge. Me personally, it wasn't, but just because of the fall he took, just didn't do much. And then, of course, there's a few other things that I really liked, but besides that, the show was just, I don't know. I feel like I would have been a lot better off just reading results than watching it at times. I think maybe I got more excited.
You know, it's bad when they already have so many commercials during Raw that Gary finds 3 bathroom breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when the show is on TV, like, that's, you know.
I'm on the DVR. I'm sitting there like I could pause it any time. I'm like, you know what? Don't need to pause it. Let it run. You need help fixing something? I'll be right there. So anyway, well, you know, hopefully next week we'll get a lot better show. You know, sometimes the pay-per-view hangovers are a little rough. Let's go ahead and move on, though, guys. We need to talk about some NXT. Really curious to see what you guys think about this show. I know we have our opinions about it, and we're going to give them to you. We'll be right back with those.
WWE Developmental NXT.
All right. I was once again watching this while I was doing the stuff, you know, trying to watch it live and watching other things at the same time. So if I don't totally recall something, I apologize. We had a really nice Dusty tribute video at the beginning. This one kind of almost made me shed tears again, so I won't talk too much about it. But we did start out with the 6-person match that they've been kind of building towards. I thought this was fine. You have Enzo doing them doing the tag finisher with Enzo and Cass, and Carmella got to get a few licks on Alexa too, so thought it was fun.
Yeah, I guess I don't really question the finish. I thought it was a fun match. I just sort of wish, I guess, there was a little bit more meat to it, but fine opener, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, the match was what we can expect it to be honest with you. But besides that, I really wasn't just so enthralled in it. To me, like Paul, that's perfect. Not enough meat. Right there. That's the truth. I kind of felt like they were saving some things. I kind of felt like that they were, holding back. And so to me, it was okay, but it didn't do everything it needed to do for me.
Well, to be honest, this is kind of like their first, this is their first, match in this, now that this has become a 6-person feud. So, It's going to build other things, because they really, even though we're sort of still building the tag division again, they really still don't have anyone. So this is going to kind of go on for a little while longer.
Yeah, I'm okay with that totally. I just thought it was kind of funny that, it almost like it seemed like they had a skeleton match in a way. I know it's weird to say, but
Yeah.
it was almost like the bare bones that they could do. And you would think, being the opener of the show, but we all know these are pre-taped, and this is just the way they did it. So it's nothing bad. I'm not trying to hate just to hate. I just thought it was kind of odd.
I mean, the crowd was hot for it.
Yeah.
So, But
the crowd was hot for it. They were hot for Enzo. Just gotta say that. Anyway, go ahead.
I was about to say something, and you kind of caught me off guard.
There you go. I lived to screw the show up.
Thank you, Gary. That's all. As I'm eating ice cream at like 4 in the morning,
trying to stay
awake. Anyway, I thought Joe cut a really. I mean, this is your typical Joe promo, but I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's still surreal to me to see Joe cutting promos in NXT. Like, it's just, I still don't believe it. Like, I'm like, looking at the TV and going, am I really seeing Joe right here now?
Mm-hmm.
Doing something with Devin Taylor. Just, and we also get a Casey Cassidy against Charlotte match, which Cassidy gets a few things on Charlotte, which I appreciated. It wasn't like a total, just Charlotte squash thing. So that's nice. I guess Charlotte. Hopefully, it's not a thing where Charlotte's going to keep doing the spear, because we have enough people doing spears. Just please, just saying. But yeah, what do you think?
The Joe promo I also enjoy, mostly because it's not sad defeated Joe that we saw in the last couple of years of TNA. It's motivated Joe, and there's something behind this now. And you can very much tell that he's invested, he's motivated, and he's very intent on giving Kevin Owens the business. So there's good news there. Charlotte, Casey Cassidy, I thought it was okay. There's a few mishaps here or there, but I don't know. Like, Casey Cassidy's still learning the WWE style and trying to get acclimated to all that. I still don't know if Charlotte's good. I don't know if she's carry a match good, though.
It's very interesting you say that, because I was watching this match and I thought to myself, okay, I think they're doing an okay job, but it's not as fluid as I would expect. And not only that, what are they meaning to do with Charlotte here? Are they just trying to maybe calm her down a little bit, or what's going on? But I mean, I think now that Paul said that kind of clicks something about the fact that maybe she's not ready to carry a whole lot of matches. Maybe she's, able to do what she can do, but helping someone else may not be her forte just yet. Once again, she's still learning. We got to remember, this is not something where she's been doing this for 15 years. We got to remember.
We got to remember that she walked in a year ago, not knowing
right.
And it's an amazing story that what we have with her is only a year build. That is crazy to me. You know what I mean? That's the thought. It's not 15 years ago.
That's the thing we have to remember. Like, the other three of the four horsewomen have been doing this a while.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's the newest one, and obviously her name is carrying her a little bit too, but she's done her part. Like, she's not in there just going through the motions or whatever, and not. She understands what she's supposed to do. She's just still, I'm missing the words here, but
no, I get where you're coming from. It just that was a thought process I had, and I often get. I really did forget it was only a year. I just assumed maybe she's been doing this 2 or 3 years. But wow, it goes to show you how much talent she does have, how much athleticism she has to be putting on the matches we've seen and perform at that level, and only have done it for a year. That's just, it speaks volumes, and it makes you excited about what 5 years from now could look like.
Mm.
Well, so I got to remember who she's feuding with, who's, green as grass over there.
Yeah,
so,
true that.
That being said, again, and I compliment, and then once again she decided to retweet what I had to say on Twitter. I thought Dana did a really good job in this promo of, once again, you know, Paul has said it, I've said it, of her understanding her character and really putting that through in promos. Like, you know, she is what she is as a wrestler right now, but, you know, like her doing the whole, she wants to be called Miss Brooke, and she wasn't around because she was doing the Arnold Classic thing. She was making it like, you know, I don't give a crap about this stuff. I am who I am, and I'm better than you because of that. And, you know, she even made a joke about the whole, you know, Charlotte, and she needed her dad to get her to the spot and all that stuff. It's heel stuff, and she gets it. So, and then she even did the whole patting Devin Taylor thing on the head, and did the whole, I just remember how much I missed this. It was like, it's a small thing, but it's, again, it's consistency and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dana has that something that I think a lot of people don't have. You can learn ring work and you can become a fair hand even if it's not what you're very talented at. But she gets how to work a character. She gets how to work a promo, and that's not something you can teach everybody. So she definitely has that going for it. And I mean, I think she still has a ton of potential in her too. So we talk about Charlotte in 5 years. I think Dana Brooke in 5 years is an exciting prospect too.
Yeah, I would be very curious to see where she would be. I noticed one thing, and you guys may not have picked up on this, but I did notice that she seemed to try to keep her accent from coming out too much. She accents things, like I've said before, you know, I think she's from the Midwest, Minnesota possibly, and I noticed this week really heavily, she kind of calmed down on that. She tried to pronounce out her words very carefully. But I think she did a great job. No diss on that. I just thought it was interesting that, you know, she didn't sound so Midwestern.
Yeah, she's from Ohio.
Ohio, see, right there in that area. Okay.
So we had the main event, which was Owens and Joe. I laughed really hard at the Chinlock City chant. Oh, man. The Owens pulling a page and chanting, "This is my house." Like, I don't know what that was supposed to be, but yeah. We get a double DQ because they just end up fighting on that, brawling on the outside or whatever. But I thought this was good. Obviously, they're saving it for something else. I don't even know if we're going to get to something else now because Owens got pulled to the main roster. But, you know, we got what Joe does. We got all of Joe's stuff, pretty much. And he did it well. And, you know, again, you can see Joe's motivated here.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that. I mean, I think we'll get a blow-off match. I just don't think it'll be an NXT title match. I think they're pretty set on giving Finn the championship in Japan. And hopefully, I mean, at the next NXT special, if obviously Sami Zayn won't be ready to go, so I think Joe and Kevin Owens will be a fine substitute for a main event.
Yeah, or Joe and Balor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, either way, any of that sounds good. Really, not many wrong turns.
I mean, because, like we've noted, I mean, they're kind of running out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Owens is going to be on the main roster, I mean, you're kind of running out of big matches at this point.
Mm-hmm. True that. You know, this is... this whole main event picture here, it's what it is, but this match itself, just by taking this, just really didn't do anything. It was kind of a weird, I don't know if it was a Twilight Zone feel to me or what, it just felt odd. Maybe it's just I'm still kind of do what Sean said, trying to figure out if I'm watching NXT or TNA, because, you know, hey, Samoa Joe's in the ring. But it didn't seem right at times. I don't know, just maybe me. But I'm sure we're going to get a bigger match later. That's why they had this whole situation breakdown. Everybody coming trying to separate them. Blah blah blah. We've had that 100 times happen. But
you could definitely tell they were holding back here.
Well, it's just not to hold back. It was almost like Kevin Owens was very sloppy at times. I don't know. It was almost like it was just I don't know if it was lackluster. There was just something weird about the match, just in general. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to articulate exactly what you were feeling. But,
yeah, I know. It's a personal thing, and it just felt weird to me. Just me personally. It's okay. So.
Yeah. So I mean, that's NXT.
Yeah. So we'll get a chance to figure out what's going to happen next week on there. But now we are going to move on to some Lucha Underground, everybody. This is a very interesting episode because you only have one match, and Sean will come back and explain to you why we only had a match right after this.
Well, as we talked about this last week, basically, Dario Cueto told Mundo that he wanted to see him be champion at the Ultima Lucha. So he set up this basically glorified Iron Man match. Except for the fact that they can, you can do an Iron Man matches too. It's a no disqualification Iron Man match. So they could do whatever the hell they wanted. Okay, it's one match with a bunch of falls. They were obviously setting up for Puma to do the big comeback because they had Mundo go up 4-1. There was, the early part was them kind of exchanging holds and all that stuff. They kind of got into a faster pace. Puma powerbomb Mundo, kind of did like a Michinoku driver into the on top of a crate that smashed, and then Mundo freaking whacked Puma with a pipe or a crowbar or whatever it was, and then he hit the Moonlight Drive and got a cheap fall, and then he hit the End of the World and got another cheap fall, and then this kind of like hit this is kind of when it went into like this. No, I think it was later, but either way, we had this really cool like this friggin' nasty DDT, and I think Mundo like knocked Puma off the rail, this like balcony thing they were on for a lot of the time where the band was, and parts of this match I kind of don't remember because it was long. But there was a part where Mundo's just kind of like running out the clock, and he's kind of just standing there, drinking water, doing all this stuff. It kind of had a lull in the middle, which is fine. I mean, it's a long match, understandably you take a break or whatever. But when it picks up towards the end, and they have a really nice finish, and eventually, Patron comes back and helps basically Puma beats the total crap out of Mundo, so that it basically helps Puma get the falls that he needs to get the win. But what do you guys think? There's like 55 minutes of wrestling here.
I really, really enjoyed this match. I think Puma and Mundo, they just click instantly. They're so fluid together in the ring. They seem to already know what the other guy's going to do about 5 moves ahead of what he's doing. So that's always good. Some of the spots in this were ridiculous, like the fall from the little thing into all the tables, just painful looking. I think Mundo got busted open the hard way almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just a great match. And another reason you should watch Lucha Underground every week. Just great match, almost seemingly good to great match every week.
Oh, for sure. Let's be honest. Lucha Underground is about wrestling, but it's also about the entertainment factor of having all those cool cinematic vignettes and backstage, videos, everything that's involved in it. That's all, ramped up to the 10th degree, just because they're able to do all the mystical things that they do. People that disappear, people that have wings and jump off buildings, and all sorts of crazy stuff. But they didn't need that in this episode for sure, because they gave you a solid match. It was exciting all the way through. We didn't have to have anything else to excite you. We just had the match itself, and I really enjoyed it. Sure, like any match, you're going to have your slow times, and but then you're going to have your big events, like Paul just mentioned, the table spot, and then of course you have the excitement of having, here comes El Patron. And he surprises everybody. Everybody kind of pops the crowd and, kind of gives both the guys a message after helping, Puma get one pin. Says, hey, I'm after whoever becomes champion after this, so you be ready for me. And I like that. Kind of concludes it and gives us a story along with a great match. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, despite the fact that it was just one match and there was no vignettes.
That's okay. They left the crazy for 1 week.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of all the vignettes we'll get next week, Gary.
Oh, I know.
Probably.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. I'm looking forward to it, though.
I think, judge it for yourself. I just have this, I think there was, like, the whole part with Mundo kind of killing time. I can understand what he's doing. He's just trying to run out the clock. He runs away from him. I get all that part, but it just kind of took me out of it a little bit. And then they got me back in once, Patron came out and they had the really awesome, last 3 or 4 minutes. That was a nice way to end it. So, but, take the hour for yourself and decide on your own what you think where this lies in the whole amount of Iron Man matches that you've seen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You could definitely compare this one to a lot of other ones and see what you like more. The good thing in this is you do get a chance to see Johnny Mundo get the band started up again and kind of get things popping in the house. I like that.
Oh God, that guitar shot. That guitar was not. It wasn't Jarrett. It did not have the hollow point in it. That's what busted open Mundo was the freaking chair, the guitar shot. That was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, you gotta love it. So there you go, guys. That is our Lucha Underground for this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and of course, let us know what you think about this special edition of Lucha Underground for you guys. Now we are going to go on and head on over to another promotion, and this promotion, of course, is TNA Impact. We're going to break down some of these matches and see what we kind of liked and disliked. So we're going to do that right after this.
TNA Impact Wrestling.
Oh, scared me there. It kind of started slowing down for some reason. Man, we might not even cross the 2 hours here.
Wow.
Going by.
Well, the format of these shows are so weird. NXT had that big, segment with Balor, and then you go on.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, we didn't get it, but, part of the matches, so.
That, you know what? That is the stuff that you will probably never get on WWE TV that Triple H makes you love NXT. Like, I thought I would never see a New Japan logo on my...
Oh, me too.
On a WWE product. So, that's really cool. And the fact that they're going to do an entire part 2, basically, on his New Japan stuff, it seems like. Because they went through everything up until when he got called up to New Japan, so...
Mm-hmm.
Did you pee a little, Paul, when you saw that New Japan symbol on WWE TV?
I won't say I peed a little, but I was very excited.
God, Gary, you always gotta make things up.
Hey, sometimes you get looked.
Hey, you know what? I won't lie. I think a lot of us crapped ourselves when we saw that Final Fantasy VII remake thing at the Sony conference. So that was certainly something I thought we would never see. So,
So yeah, I mean, what did you think about that they actually used his name too, David?
no, I mean I expected that if you're gonna do his whole thing, you're gonna hear his name. I mean, but they did that. I think in the video they showed Prince David, and then it changed to Finn Balor or whatever on the. We never heard the Fergal part on WTV, but I mean, it is what it is.
And did you smart me up, guys? But did you realize the whole fact that he was part of the reason Becky Lynch got trained and all that?
He's the reason Ireland has wrestling right now.
Yeah, see, I did not know that. By watching that, I learned that. But that was what was so interesting, and I thought it was so touching.
Becky Lynch cried. Bawling was, that was kind of touching.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. She basically kind of said that without him doing that and starting the school, she wouldn't be around. So, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for part 2.
Yeah, that should be interesting what they show on that. So, anyway, getting into TNA, we also had a Dusty thing for TNA. I forgot that Dusty had been in TNA. So. Not that it's a bad thing. I just had forgotten that he was in TNA. So, pretty much we were told we're going to get a contract signing between Kurt Angle and EC3. They do it at the beginning, so at least there's that, I guess. This is where we get the what Gary played in the intro with EC3. See, this is how you do alluding to other people. You don't say their names. EC3 cut a wonderful promo here telling us everybody that Kurt Angle's wrestled that means something without having to say their name directly. People got it. The whole "you can't see me," so people started chanting some "Cena sucks" chants and whatever, and that's fine. You're gonna get that. But I thought this was well done. Mike Tenay deserves to do more than stuff like this, but that's just me. But at least he was there. At least they didn't do JB. They brought Mike Tenay out for something. I thought this was a good segment. It wasn't, the end-all, be-all of contract signings, but it sets the stage for what happens later, too.
Yeah, I mean, EC3's money, if you want me to pay attention to what's happening on Impact, showing him as soon as possible will do that. So, I think it's a good move to put this at the very beginning of the show.
I'm right there with you guys. And that's exactly, the reason I think EC3 is so evolved. I mean, I have a hard time believing there's a lot of other people backstage that were thinking, oh, you should do this, mention if they did, credit to them, but I've never heard them do it before, so I have a hard time believing it, and so I really great way to get everybody pumped up, get everybody excited about what's going to happen to the contract signing, and just another great promo by EC3.
Yep. So we get we're told that Kurt Angle gets to pick who EC3 is wrestling, and he's going to wrestle Lashley in the main event. I forgot who. Did he make Kurt Angle's wrestling next week? Whoever he picked, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this, we get the stuff with the tag team titles with Davey and Eddie coming out and wanting match 4. Bobby Roode reminds them that Austin Aries just had a hell of a match with Kurt Angle last week, so he's not cleared to wrestle. So we have Bobby Roode and Eddie Edwards. I thought this was pretty good. Eddie Edwards wins with a Eddie wins with basically a distraction roll-up, sort of. Oh boy. But, whatever. We get Full Metal Mayhem next week. It is next week, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So, yeah. I'm going to guess they're going to do Match 5 at Slammiversary, because if not, why are we wasting... It's the same thing, like, why are we not doing the triple threat X Division title match at Slammiversary? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know why we're doing Full Metal Mayhem at match 4, and not saving that for the last match. But it's whatever, I guess. Eddie Edwards and Bobby Roode had a heck of a match. I wasn't a huge fan of the promo just because it led to more talking and not getting to wrestling fast enough. And with TNA in 2 hours, that's a bit of a different thing almost when you look at WWE sometimes.
Yep, that's the truth, and I kind of felt the same way, because I thought, okay, we just got off a big talkie segment, it's time for a match, and then nope, more talkie. But, in the end, it works out. We're going to get, the Full Metal Mayhem match, whatever it is, and it works. I guess it's supposed to get people excited about maybe watching this show and then ordering the pay-per-view. If it works, it works, but to me, personally, I'm not just overly excited.
Hey, we're getting King of the Mountain at Slammiversary, so...
Yeah, oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's like, oh.
Yeah.
So, Jarrett gets used the six-sided ring, and TNA brings back the Jarrett favorite of King of the Mountain, so... I guess they just take from each other.
Yep.
So we get basically the next guy that's going to face Bram is Joseph Park. I love me some Joseph Park, but that was a bit weird that he's the next TNA legend that's going to face Bram. He still had abyss teeth. That was funny.
Can we use legend loosely for Joseph Park?
I don't know. I don't know what they're like. The former TNA. I don't know what word did they use for this? Like, did they use anything like former TNA great, or what are we?
I have no idea. I don't remember. Legend is a strong word.
Yeah. I just think a big ball of sexiness. That's what.
Literally talked about Bram.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Wrong segment. Yeah.
Yeah, we also got to find out that Drew Galloway wants us to show your impact. That doesn't come out the way you wanted to there.
Oh, yeah. I got, the law doesn't like it when you do that.
You know what? The match was fine. It didn't last too long. Bram speared Joseph Park through a table, so
Yeah, it's that big ball of sexiness. Yes, Bram did a good job. Just putting poor old. I want to call him Abyss. It's hard for me to call him Joseph Parks. I just want to call him Abyss. But anyway, Parks, took care of him, and it was kind of sad because I enjoy Parks. To be honest with you, I enjoy him being around, and it was kind of neat. And do you like this little bit of a stab they took at it, WWE little jab that they did about the tout?
No. WWE hasn't used tout in forever.
I know, but they still had to say it. I invested in, Parks, I invested my money in that thing called tout, and it all lost it all, So anyway, I just thought it was funny.
It was funny, but it's just can we get a more relevant reference?
Yep. They're just bitter. Whatever. They're bitter. Yeah. They're falling down. They know it.
They would have. I think they wish that they would have invested in talent.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. So we get Taryn Terrell doing crazy dollhouse stuff where, she acts all crazy and then sweet and crazy and sweet, whatever. She's got that down. Basically, if you beat Marty and Jade, then both Brooke and Kong get to challenge her for the belt. So, well, you pretty much guess what happened. As if we needed to give it away.
Yeah.
Anymore. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was fine. Again, you kind of knew who was going to win, so that kind of took me out of it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's still a fun match overall, I think. The Dollhouse, great faction, really entertaining. One of the other things that I think you should watch Impact for every week, just because I think Taryn Terrell and the whole Dollhouse in the entirety is a very inspired idea. And, Kong and Brooke beat people up. That's always fun. So.
Right. I mean, still got to hear doll parts on loop, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you feel bad for the Dollhouse because, man, don't you think that they could win somewhere here or there? Don't you think they could be successful?
But this is kind of what happens, right? When you have lackeys, your lackeys go out there to lose. As long as you don't lose, that's what matters.
Yep. It's the truth. It really is. But, man, I think the lackeys need a little bit more respect. Come on.
No, but it's Awesome Kong. You really going to have them beat Awesome Kong?
I'm just saying they could pull out, weaponry that Awesome Kong couldn't even handle.
Well, you wanted to throw a Ninja Star or something?
Jawbreakers, clearly.
Oh, man. Yeah, there you go. I was kind of hoping they'd, throw candy or something like that, hoping that she'd lose a cent. But.
Well,
I don't know.
Close enough.
Exactly. I have no answer to this, Sean. That's why I'm throwing random things out there. I agree. In this scenario, it had to work this way. I just hope in the future, if they keep this Dollhouse together, they've got to win some here and there.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's the whole, Taryn has faith in her girls, so she thinks that they're going to rule all, and she doesn't realize that, maybe they're not as good as she thinks they are, and it bites her in the ass. Typical heel thing. Which is totally fine. How did you guys feel about this whole Chris Melendez and Eric Young segment? Because the moment Eric Young comes out, I'm just like, okay, well, I can go to the bathroom. So,
I think. Go ahead, Paul.
You could do that really when Chris Melendez comes out, because
yes, we were going to say the same thing.
He has he has a great story behind him, but TNA has done nothing to make you care about him. Nothing. I mean, pairing him with EY does nothing for me personally. So it's sort of I don't care about what's happening on my screen right now.
I think EY did a good job of being the heel and being like, well, I don't give a crap about how I tarnished all that stuff, and it wasn't Seth Rollins and Cleveland heel heat, but it works.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing for me invested in either of these guys. So.
Well, hey, at least Jesse Goddard's gets to beat another one of his former bromans with the channeling his inner young lion with the Boston Crab. So, yeah, he continues to just whoop some guys smaller than him.
Yep.
This whole thing, I'm okay with it. To an extent. Okay, so Jesse does what he does, takes care of business against DJ. But my thing about this is really, how are they going to be successful without each other? I don't know. Robbie E comes in, of course, and saves the day, but Robbie E's the one that I can focus on, the one that I could say could do something. With these other guys, I'm just not sold on.
I actually disagree. I think Jesse's done a lot for himself.
Yeah, but
and I think he could be something. I think he has something there.
I think Jesse has something there. I just think he needs some pieces around him to sort of help bring it out. Because I think he's a great guy to play off of with. I don't know if he's so great by himself.
I think that's what I'm alluding to. It's not about him by just his talent overall. It's about the fact that once he has something to bounce off somebody, or maybe has a match where he's not the sole focus, he works great. But when he is, I'm just not sold he's going to do awesome. That's just my personal thoughts on it, though.
I can understand. I think that maybe I don't know. Let's see where this goes. It's going to be more important of what happens after he gets done with the bromance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do with him after that? He does, like, basically, I like this little promo where he's like, do you feel what it feels to be breathless and alone, DJZ? And then Robbie has to come out and say DJZ and whatever. That's going to continue, but let's see what they do, because they kind of got to push who they got at this point,
Right.
So we get the Storm and Magnus. You know what? I like this. It's Storm being a heel. He comes out with the Magnus comes out, and he's gonna. Looks like Magnus is gonna. He just wants to rip a new one into James Storm. James Storm comes out, but guess what? He's got a baby stroller. So you can't touch me because I got your baby. Watch out who you leave your baby with, Magnus. I don't know that I can totally believe that Magnus just doesn't know where his kid is at all times, but what? It's wrestling. So basically, it's that old. Oh hey, your kid's here. Oh no, he's not. And so we get a brawl and whatever. But still, I thought it was decent for what it was.
Yeah, it was. It was nothing just spectacular, but
I don't know. I don't know. Storm still. I don't know.
It's James Storm. Come on, I thought you would have plenty to say about him, about how great he is and how he entertains you. And
see, I like the beginning part because it's him subtly trying to mess with these guys. And now he's full on dick mode, and it doesn't have that same luster to it.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Maybe it's just does it have to do something with like Magnus is not a guy like to really root for, or?
Because they're giving you every reason to root for Magnus. I mean, Storm tried to kill his wife. Now he, abducted a fake baby, and it's clearly fake the whole time. By the way, that wasn't fooling anybody. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just that whole little angle right there felt really fake because obviously there was nobody in danger.
Yeah. Well, then we get EC3 and Lashley. EC3 needs help from. There's a ref bump. He needs help from Tyrus. They do a really nice near fall though, where Stifler runs down, does the 2 count, and whatever. Then EC3 has to hit him with a chair and the 1%er, and then Earl Hebner's like barely in there and barely counts to 3, and EC3 beats Lashley, so his undefeated streak continues. What do you guys think?
This was interesting, mostly because I felt like they had to have EC3 break out everything in the kitchen to beat Lashley. I understand there's some need to protect Lashley here, but couldn't you just done this by having him at least hang with him for a while, and then maybe have Tyrus interfere and allow EC3 to get the win, instead of having to resort to 12 other different things to keep him down?
Yeah, you could have. But I wonder if it's I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, but maybe it's just a thing with Lashley. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all to keep Lashley looking strong, and that the destroyer guy that they have made him into, then that's okay, I guess. But if you're taking away from your hottest act, and that seems like a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he hasn't just been an opportunist and taking advantage of situations before to
Right. It
win
just
matches. So.
You saw 12 of the opportunities taken advantage of in a span of 10 minutes.
Right. It was like the overbooking, to the max or whatever,
I get it.
Gary.
With this whole thing of the Lashley thing, it was okay for what it's worth. But, I knew it was going nowhere. That's a big problem for me at times. If I know it's not going anywhere, I just try my best to judge it by what they give me, which they gave me okay. That was not bad. But then again, it's just no surprise because I knew there was no way that Lashley was going to,
Did we think there's a chance that they may not? Do you think it's for sure thing that they pull the trigger on EC3 on that Impact?
I don't know now with them doing King of the Mountain, but I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Because if he loses to Angle, doesn't that just... I get that, he beat Angle before, and you can kind of make the point of, Angle getting his win back, whatever, but... doesn't that just take away a lot of what you've done with EC3 if Angle beats him?
You either have to have him win or you have to go no finish to lead into whatever you're going to do to set up for King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it really is. But I guess that's what they're trying to build towards, right? They're trying to get that King of the Mountain, whatever, and try and get that all set up. So I can see some of this.
So what are we rating TNA?
Excuse me. I think I'm willing to, 6.5, somewhere in there. EC3, the opening contract signing, I think, was good. Bobby Roode and Eddie Edwards was a really excellent match. More Dollhouse shenanigans. There's a lot more stuff on here to like, I think, than there was on Raw.
I would agree. 6, because there's still stuff that you can take or leave. At least everybody kind of sort of has a purpose on this show right now. That they're showing on TV anyway. You can it's kind of weird that they're doing some of these certain matches on the Impact before your pay-per-view, but they kind of already took away your big main event match from the pay-per-view itself, so that's kind of why we're not going to do a special for Slammiversary anymore, not to mention because we can't do it on Sunday night, we would have to do it on Monday night, and yeah, it already kind of feels like a lame duck show at that point. I think, whoever's listening that's a big TNA fan, I think you can kind of wait till Thursday night for us to talk about it, if you guys want us to do it on Monday, how about somebody email me, wrestlingthemax@gmail.com, get in that Facebook group, hit me up on Twitter, @Wrestling2Max. If I get enough people that are diehard TNA fans that really want us to do something on Monday night, we'll do it. I don't hear anything, we're doing it on Thursday.
That's right.
So yeah.
Yeah, there you go, guys. So
the reason we're doing ROH is because it happens on Friday. By the time we get around to the next Thursday, that's a week. That's too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, we try to stay as up to date as we can, guys. This is only fair to you. And most of the time, even if TNA would have filmed or were actually showing this on a Saturday, we'd get a chance by Sunday to have it, watch it, get it done.
It's not just that. It's like if they hadn't made it to where they're taping shows before the pay-per-view that are for after the pay-per-view.
Yeah. I know. One of those things. So we'll have to watch that episode and see if it's even worth whatever we got to do. So, but yeah, keep in contact. We will be, doing Slammiversary, just probably not on a special night. It'll probably just be on a regular W2M show. But guys, we need to move on from TNA and hop on over to Ring of Honor, we've got a lot to talk about. Plus, there's a big match coming up this week, and we'll have a little bit more insight through this episode. So we'll be right back with Ring of Honor.
Go for it.
Awesome. So we open this episode with the decade of Adam Page and BJ Whitmer, who subs in Colby Corino to continue being a dick to Steve Corino, who's doing color at ringside, to take on War Machine. And it's pretty much 2.5 minutes of Colby getting his ass handed to him.
Yep. There's nothing else to say. Thankfully, the rest of the show is really good. I mean, look, this has a point.
Yes.
And Steve Corino, to his credit, acts much more upset this time around than he did last week.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Last week he kind of acted like someone stole his hamburger. This week it's more of, oh wait, I should care more.
I loved how at the beginning though he was kind of like, well, we kind of have our issues right now. Like he's been staying with his mom, and because. It's like, oh, we're gonna get Corino with the whole "I kind of care but I don't care" thing, and then at the end, he post match, he really got into it. So I appreciated it.
Yeah, you're right. So,
yeah. After that, we cut to a promo with Cedric Alexander, who talks about he was supposed to be this breakout star last year, and now it's time to prove that. So he challenges Moose, and immediately I'm thinking, you're an idiot. But then he comes out here and he manages to pull out the win. Despite some shenanigans.
Well, that's Veda Scott's fault. She shouldn't have pulled out the... whatever the hell that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever it was, right?
I don't know. It looked like a freaking... one of those things that you use to put like a pot on. the metal things. I don't know. That's kind of what it looked like to me. But this was good, though. Moose can... he hits those drop kicks. They're still pretty awesome. Cedric Alexander held his own here and he won. So props to them. I mean, we were talking about how they were going to deal with this whole undefeated thing. Do you like the fact that they did it right before the Big Trouble with That match? Does this make you think that maybe Moose will win it now?
I think it leans more towards that way. I still think you go Roddy in this case, but I don't know. I think you should have really, kept the aura around Moose until you absolutely had to. But Cedric Alexander is not a bad guy to lose to, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cedric Alexander's a really cool opponent to have, and to not only that, to have him win against you, especially with his streak. I think that Moose, it was eventual. And I think Cedric Alexander, the story with him, it works completely the right way. So I thought it was exciting, especially for them to get a chance to showcase that on the TV show. It was good stuff. And so, nothing bad. And I like the fact that, Moose was still upset about it, but, he didn't flip out.
Right.
No, and I think, too, it leaves it open for whatever happens. You can still do a story with Cedric Alexander, because if he wins, then Cedric Alexander can say, well, I beat you, so I should kind of get a shot at your number one contender deal. And if he doesn't, then, he can go back to working with Cedric Alexander.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I think it's going to depend on what they do with the television championship after Jay Lethal becomes the champion on Friday.
Yeah.
Whether they'll turn him in it or not. So we get to our main event match. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito taking on ACH and Matt Sydal. Really fun main event. Lots of high flying. Lots of back and forth too. Just really, really fun match, in my opinion, that Tanahashi and Naito find themselves going over in.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. The freaking moonsault into the German suplex was awesome. I thought Bourne might have had it with the shooting star, but it got blocked, and then Tanahashi got his. I'm gonna hope Kevin Kelly just had a dumb moment like everybody knows that's the Sling Blade. Like, why call it a neck breaker? But other than that, yeah, this was really fun and it was really good. And hey, you got to see your boy Naito, Gary, so I'm sure you were happy. Gary?
You know, looking at this whole thing, I mean, I'm trying to think exactly what I want to say about this because of the fact of the matter boils down to I thought it was a good match overall. But, you know, when you get a lot of these guys in the match, you know, I don't know. Maybe I should just stick to it was good. How about that? I mean, because there's a lot of stuff going on. It really was. And I just, sometimes in these, I hate to judge it based on some few moments and some great stuff and then some kind of, okay, you know. So it's right about that for me.
I did like the thing on the outside, too, where, like, Tanahashi blocked Seidel. And then ACH just came right back after him and did his little rope flip thing on top of both Tanahashi and Naito. That was good.
That was awesome. So I love having my boy Naito in this match. I can't deny that. I mean, it was great having him a part of this. And so very exciting. But, you know, once again, you know, I think if anything, he should have got everything to pin and, you know, just a total annihilation of everybody. Even his opponent, even his partners.
Yeah.
No, just take out Tanahashi, right?
Just everybody. Tanahashi, you ain't worth anything. Come on, I'm the future.
Okay, so our main event segment is the contract signing for the big championship match tomorrow, today, whenever you're listening to it, for Jay Lethal and Jay Briscoe. I really enjoyed the segment. I thought it did very well, sort of sending us off on the right direction towards that match. What do you guys think?
I agree totally. They did a wonderful job, and what do you expect? I mean, they you know have pretty decent personalities. Both these guys have some charisma about them, and they definitely can cut promos. So I'm excited about it now, and just by watching that, it made me even more excited than I was before. So I don't know, good stuff from them.
Yeah, this was actually, it's a contract signing, but I appreciated the fact that not only did Nigel make this feel like a big deal, he said, look, this is the biggest match in ROH history considering everything that's here. Lethal took the big shot at Briscoe, like the whole, you're going to make a big mistake just like your parents did 31 years ago. And Briscoe's like, well, I'm going to beat your ass so bad you're going to go back to being Black Machismo. He just loses it. And it's like, it was great. It was a nice way to just, all right, and Lethal's just jaw-jacking the entire time about how he made the title so great and whatever. And Briscoe's like, look, I'm holding this up, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the sign up chant too. That was funny.
Oh man, you gotta love it. This is what's fun about ROH. You get all those chants, you get people acting crazy, and of course, they can do a little bit more free will. That's their promos. That's what they want to cut, and so that's what I enjoy about it too. We're not seeing anything fabricated or anything that's been put in place by somebody that's not even a wrestler. So I like that kind of stuff. But guys, that is our Ring of Honor show for you this week. Of course, don't forget Best in the World is coming for you. And of course, we're going to try to cover that Sunday night. So don't miss that show. If you get a chance to watch Best in the World, Friday or even Saturday, hey, we're going to be here for you. It's that Sunday night coming up to kind of cover it. And call in if you want, because we'd love to hear from you. Of course, you can always chat with us and stuff. And we'll have all those ways for you. So, well, man, it is time for us to get on, and we are going to be right back, and we are going to crown a Superstar of the Week right after this.
Superstar of the Week.
All right, Paul, who do you have in your rankings this week?
Number 5, we get to Sheamus, winning Money in the Bank, albeit in a sort of less than stellar match, in my opinion. 4 goes to Primetime Players, capturing those tag team titles. 3 goes to Kevin Owens for winning that new Match of the Year candidate match between him and Cena at this last pay-per-view. Number 2, I get to Prince Puma. Retains his championship in a very, very fun Iron Man match against Johnny Mundo on this week's Lucha Underground. And number 1's got to go Seth Rollins. Great promo work on Raw. Great ladder match on Sunday. All the way around, just the best guy on television and wrestling probably this week.
Sean?
Oh, crap, now I forgot half my order. That's great. I think number 5 is Cedric Alexander for breaking Moose's streak and having a good match with Moose as well. Number 4 is Primetime Players for winning the tag titles. Number 3 is Puma and Mundo for having the really, really good Iron Man there on Lucha Underground and Puma retaining. Number 2 is Sheamus winning Money in the Bank. And number 1, Seth Rollins. He retained the title. Fantastic ladder match. And also, performed well on Raw. He had the great inning 7 with Brock as well.
All right, guys. Well, my number 5 has to go to Cedric Alexander as well. I think that he did a great job, and hey, ending a streak is a big deal. Number 4 has to go to Prince Puma. Did a wonderful job in that big, I guess we call it an Iron Man match for us, but did a great job in that match. It was really good. Number 3 has to go to Sheamus for his, big Money in the Bank win. That was a great job done by him. 2, I got the Primetime Players. Big fan. Glad they won the titles. So looking forward to see what they do in the future. And my number 1 has to go to Seth Rollins because the man did everything that he said he was going to do. He said he was going to win without anybody's help. Well, guess what? Here he is, and he won. So, it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And, of course, the cookie crumbled for Seth Rollins this week. He is our superstar of the week, so congratulations to him. It's really cool to have him as a part of that group. Well, it is time. Sure, us and Sean is going to be cutting some plugs for us. He's going to be putting them on for you. Just letting you guys know, next week, don't forget, we'll be doing a regular show next Thursday. We'll be breaking down some more things for you, of course. We'll be doing a Slammiversary for you, that show. And, of course, we'll probably be doing some other special things that Sean may let you know.
Doing a Slammiversary preview.
Preview, I'm sorry. I love seeing reviews. So we'll be doing that preview for you guys and, of course, some other great things. And, Sean, go ahead and do some plugs.
Yep, just one more time. Don't forget, Sunday night, should be like around... I have to do the... I'm going to be the first ever guest on the Backflip Busting project with Randy, and they do their thing. They live in the Pacific time zone over there and close to Washington State. Whatever, so they're going to do their thing like around 10 p.m. Eastern, so like right when we're done with that, like around midnight, we'll do the ROH Best in the World review. I mean, if both of you guys are around, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing that day, so I don't want to say we can try to do it before, and then we can. But yeah, so safe bet, midnight Eastern, so if you want to be around live and talk to us about it, you can call. If not, it's available on demand like this show is, like all of our shows are. Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, Blueberry. On the VOC Nation Radio Network, we are on there, along with all the other guys that are on, like Harry and the Raw Reaction, and Tony and Jimmy Christopher, and Craig DeMarco's show, who had Adam Cole on this week, so you can go listen to him and have him. Listen to him interview Adam Cole from Ring of Honor, obviously. Speaking of the VOC Nation, I'm going to be on with Harry Broadhurst, reviewing the Wrestle Kingdom 9. Harry wanted to review it because it's the first ever American pay-per-view for them, and it's obviously they're big. We've reviewed it way back now. It's like episode 124 or something. I don't remember the exact number.
Beginning of January sometime.
Yeah, it'll be. I think it's the January 7th episode. So you'll just have to go in the back in the archives for that. But Yeah, so he and obviously his favorite commentator, Mr. Matt Striker, is doing it. So I'll probably get to hear him gush about Striker for a while. That's been fun. So either way, always fun to do stuff with Harry. That being said, I also have other show. My God, E3 is fun. And I'll get to talk about it one more time with Randy and Wes on the Backup Busting, which is on iTunes and Stitcher too. So they usually come out like Tuesday afternoons, I want to say, and then you can it'll be there. I'll talk about it one more time with them, and then the lid will be closed on E3. We did reaction podcasts for every single conference. Had those two, Randall was on, It was a lot of fun, but it also was very taxing because I also then had to write about things about E3 and just, also just very awesome to see some of the games that came out of that. So you can go listen to those as well. They're on our speaker page. They're also, go look up Cooperative Multiplayer Live. They're all there. Or on the VOC. If you just have the VOC Nations things subscribed, they're all there as well. And then Gary and I and Randy just did the football to football for this week, which I thought was really good. We did our top 5 wide receivers coming into 2015 for this year. Randy got to debut his baseball segment. We talked about kind of everything that's been happening this week in sports. So, if you want to listen to Gary and I talk about that, it's there as well. And, of course, rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher because that helps us out a lot. Had a few people do that this week, so thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And if this is the first time you're listening to this show, we do this every Thursday night, Friday morning for you. And I really appreciate Charles and the W2M group that he says he listens to the show. Even though he doesn't watch all the shows that we cover on here, he still listens all the way through. So that's really cool. Not everybody does that, so I appreciate it.
That's right. Mad love for everybody who checks out the show and, of course, tells a friend about it. It's, kind of cool when we get people, coming over and saying, hey, we heard about this show. There's somebody else. Or, a friend of mine, was listening and I heard it too. And I, wanted to know more. So it's always cool. We love that. And we appreciate all the nice comments. We've had several of them. And it's so, it makes it worth it for us all. We do this for fun, and we do this for you guys, and it just means that, all the late nights and all the times that we, spend trying to study things for you guys, it actually pays off. So, once again...
this has to be a record.
What's that?
Of how short this is.
What's our time limit right now, currently?
2.5 hours.
Wow, it's once again thanks to those weird show formats this week and those others, not ROH, NXT, Lucha Underground, so very interesting. So, well, we will let you guys get off early this week. How about that? So we will be talking to you guys soon, and don't forget this Sunday night, ROH Best in the World, and of course, hey, catch us back up on Thursday.
Obviously, if you can, order the pay-per-view or on demand or whatever to help out ROH, because that show will probably be very much worth it.
Yes, definitely. So, hey, pay your money. All right, guys. Well, once again, always remember, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Bye.